everybody, I am JoeyBobC, and this is not my first YouTube video. You see, first YouTube video can mean different things to different people. In my case, I can be very literal, mostly to annoy people. And I do have another channel, a personal channel, where I have uploaded some other clips with no purpose really. And this is pretty much my first attempt at starting and sticking to a YouTube project. So let's go back in time a little bit. It's the year 2012 and I have been working for a very big company as an outsourced IT guy for 7.5 years, and all the while hoping to get a big break and finally get hired as a permanent employee, because of all the benefits. So the big break happened and I got in and started working, and things were going pretty well. I was learning quite a lot. Then let's fast forward about 2.5 years or so, and I'm still learning quite a lot. I'm having a good time, but at the same time I keep getting reminded constantly that because I do not have a college degree, then I cannot expect to be promoted to anything anytime soon. However, the unlikely thing happened and I actually got promoted to a management position. Well, not really. So the IT department in the company was being restructured and my boss at the time was being moved to a different position. They gave me the opportunity to fill in his role, and although they didn't give me a raise or anything like that, I was excited about the opportunity to learn new things. Learning has always been a very big motivator for me. There was a chance that I could be actually promoted to a permanent position in management. But I wasn't. In fact, I got fired. Was restructured and it was moved to an outsourced position, meaning that the good news, I still had a job, I still do have a job, but I was no longer a permanent employee, so none of the benefits. So was I disappointed? Yeah, but not much in the company, but in myself. I mean, it's not that I wasn't good at what I was doing. I was good, but I was just not great. And the reason I was not great was because I wasn't really happy, And it didn't make much sense to me. It took me a while to figure it out. But here's the thing. I had been hoping so long to get into this company, working outsourced for 7.5 years. And when I finally got in, I started hoping to become a manager. And when I finally got that, even if it was, sort of, it simply was not what I was expecting, I didn't feel like fulfilled. So now I was in a situation in which I wanted to, or I needed rather, to find out what my passion was. I knew that I needed to pursue my passion, but I just didn't know what my passion was. So it was a bit frustrating. It was, I guess you could call it something similar to a midlife crisis or whatever. I mean, I'm almost 35 years and I had no idea what I was going to do with my life. So it was a little bit depressing. So I started, looking up, reading, and trying to figure out how one can figure out what their passion is. There are many guides you can find in the internet and a lot of text and whatever, but to be quite honest, they didn't really seem all that practical to me. They didn't make much sense to me. But then one time I came up with an idea that I'm going to paraphrase, but it was something like this. Take notice of every single time that you see somebody with having some sort of success and that it makes you feel envious. Take notice of that. Take notice of every single time you see somebody doing something and you go like, man, I wish I could do that. And that's going to give you a very good idea of what your passion is. And that really got to me. And I actually started taking notice of when these sort of things happened. And it was every single time that I was watching YouTube, and I was watching amazing YouTubers like Marcus Brownlee, Jonathan Morrison. I could name like 50 of them. And I would see them, with the latest iPhone or the latest Android device, and with all these cool gadgets. Sometimes even they would get the stuff before they were even released, or maybe when they were just being released. And I felt envious, but let me tell you something. By envious, I mean in a good way, like in the way that you feel that you should be the one doing that. And not envious in the way that you feel like, I wish that person was dead because he's doing whatever it is that I want to be doing. No, that's bad envy. I mean good envy. The one that makes you actually wish that you could also be doing that, and not instead of the person. So these amazing YouTubers, they became my inspiration. And I realized, okay, this is what I want to do. But then I got into some other issues like, okay, how do I start? How do I get equipment? And I start looking at the gear that they use. And man, this guy, Marcus Brownlee, he uses like $59,000 equipment. The camera itself, the body, without the lenses, is like $59,000. And I'm like, I'm never gonna get started. But then something curious happened, and I started noticing that Marcus Brownlee himself, and other great YouTubers, the number one advice that they were giving was just get started. With whatever equipment you have. If you only have a phone, like myself, do it. Just start making videos. It doesn't matter if they're great. It doesn't matter if they look like cinematic or whatnot. Just do it. And even though it is the most common advice given by, successful YouTubers everywhere, for some reason it was getting really hard for me to grasp, that idea, to accept the fact that I just had to get started. I also watched a video from Casey Neistat, and the video was the best gear for YouTube. It was titled something like that, along those lines. And he talked about, what equipment he has, and he started by saying equipment doesn't matter. And that's kind of like easy for him to say. That's what you think, right? Easy for him to say he has like $10,000 worth of equipment for simple vlogging. But it was also the same advice that the other successful YouTubers give. And then he wrapped it up by saying, the best gear for YouTube is the one that you already have. And that was like, okay, this is it. I gotta do this. And here I am. So I'm sorry if it was a long video. I will try to keep on getting better, and hopefully someday in the near future, I will look back and see this as my first YouTube video, and see how much I have improved. So I hope you guys stick with me, and we'll see how far along we go. So I am JoeyBobC, and stay awesome.